Today we're going to talk about fears. Every human being has a certain amount of fears that they're trying to conquer every day. And we're going to talk about the fear of failure, the fear of exposure, the fear of expression, the fear of abandonment, and the fear of rejection. We will go through them one by one and hopefully teach you how to overcome those fears. They are irrational. They are different than healthy fears. So we will go through them one by one.
Are fears irrational or are they rational?
The fears I'm talking about are irrational. There's really no basis for them. It's fear of fear itself. That's the biggest problem with fear. We're afraid of fear. So that stops us from exploring what we're afraid of, or gets us stuck in places where we're afraid to move forward. We have natural fears. A natural fear would be where it keeps you safe, where you would not blindly go across the street, you would not blindly jump into a river knowing that you can't swim, you wouldn't go over the railroad tracks knowing that a train is coming down very fast, because your natural fear would stop you from being hurt. The other fears that I'm talking about, the fear of failure, the fear of expression, the fear of exposure, the fear of abandonment, the fear of rejection, oftentimes are very irrational. It's the fear of the fear. It's not the actual action that we're afraid of. It's the actual fear of it. It becomes rooted in our emotional body, and oftentimes we're not even aware that it's there.
Are fears brought in from a past life?
Yes, oftentimes we bring our fears in from a past life because we're going to bring it from past life to present life to overcome that fear, because it stops us from being who we are. It stops us from reaching our potential. For example, if you have the fear of failure, can stem very much from a place where we're afraid to fail because we feel we're not good enough. If we don't have enough knowledge about what we're doing, the fear of failure will come in. If we do have enough knowledge of what we're doing, the fear of failure will come in because we might feel we're not good enough, or we might allow our shyness to stop us, or we might be afraid of the rejection of people about who we are. That can all feed into the fear of failure. And it's about learning there is no such thing as failure. You're going to keep trying things until you find your comfort zone, your niche, where you really are good at it. Up to that point, you may keep trying things and you may keep thinking that you're failing, but you're not. It's just not your niche. So you have to look for what is it that you love to do, what's your passion to do, and what do you know about the subject matter that you like to do. That's no failure in that, so you keep doing that until you find something that you know you're not going to fail at. Otherwise, you just bring in the fear.
As a soul historian, are you able to tell a person why they have a certain fear, or are you able to tell them what type of fear they have?
Yes. I do it all the time with people when they come for a consultation or for a reading. That information usually comes through. It tells them what fears they brought in with them and what level are they at. They can be from 1 to 10. They can be a 1, or they can be a 9, or they can be a 7 or a 6, whatever it is, because they've been working on it. And oftentimes people are not aware until it's pointed out to them what they've been working on and how they can overcome it.
Are you able to tell me what fears I brought into this lifetime?
You're asking me to tell you what fears you brought into this lifetime?
Yes. I mean, you're saying that someone comes to you and
Yes.
you're able to tell them.
Well, for you, Richard, you came in with the fear of rejection, you came in with the fear of failure and the fear of abandonment. You were working on the expression, you brought in some of that, but you got much better with that.
And these fears are from a past life?
Some are from this lifetime.
So what advice would you give me to help me to overcome, or insight to help me to better understand my fears?
Well, acknowledging first that you have them is one thing. Also taking a look at your fears when you feel it and asking, what fear is it? Some people can be totally in a space where they totally deny any fear, and so they don't get the experience even though they're still there. It's always a good idea to have self-inventory on what it is that blocks you of becoming who you want to be, and that applies to all of us. And what do we hold on to? Is it from a place of not being good enough, or can we identify our fears all by ourselves?
And the inventory that I would take, is that just looking inside myself, or is it something beyond that?
It depends on who the person is. You can make an inventory by writing down, looking back at your life, see where things blocked you or stopped you or allowed you to go forward. That's one way of identifying. It's about checking how you're feeling your emotional body now in your relationships with people. Where do you hesitate? Where don't you hesitate? Do you have a confidence that it doesn't matter what anybody thinks about you? You're just going to be you. That means you've gotten over your fear of rejection. People with a fear of rejection have a tendency to want to please people.
And you said that I have the fear of abandonment. What can you tell me about abandonment?
Well, you brought that in from a past life. You brought in abandonment, fear of abandonment in a past life. What I'm getting about you is that so you wouldn't feel the fear of abandonment, you came somewhat of a loner in your past 3 lifetimes. And you came into this lifetime to overcome some of that fear. Even though you did it very cautiously, you still avoid to a certain extent. You're getting better at it in terms of your exposure to people so that you're not rejected or abandoned. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And so with my fear of rejection, did that come from a past life?
We all experience rejection in every life. It depends on how much we internalize it. It appears that that mostly came from this lifetime in terms of how you internalized it and how it hurt you.
And so how can I overcome or better handle these fears?
You have to take a look and see where you're not good enough. And be more open to the universe and to yourself and to your emotions and understanding them. Asking your body, when the fear comes, where does it affect you in your body? Your body is a great barometer in terms of bringing up your fears or anxiety.